All right. Good morning, senior leadership. I'm Ryan Vittimberga from Group 2, and today I'm going to present you our recommendation report for Microsoft. So just beginning with the agenda, we're going to start out with some recent AI investments made by Microsoft so you can get a big picture idea of where they're going. Then we're going to talk about the FTC investigation that was launched into them in November 2024. We're going to talk about our recommendation to how to deal with this. And then we're going to talk about some advantages of this recommendation, some disadvantages, and we'll conclude with a counter argument and rebuttal. So without further ado, let's begin. So first of all, just to give a brief overview of Microsoft's AI investments, they have OpenAI is kind of their largest consumer product. They've invested over $14 billion currently, and they currently have 27% ownership as of 2023. This might seem like a small non-controlling interest, but actually due to the corporate structure, they do have quite a bit of control in this in the future of the company. The next one is Microsoft Azure. This is their flagship enterprise AI product. They've invested over $100 billion. Exact figures aren't available, but we know it's over $100 billion. And additionally, there's 30 billion earmarked for Q1 2026 alone. So it's quite significant. Then finally, in addition to this, they have over 25 other investments in AI products in smaller companies. These investments are usually in the millions rather than the billions, so they're quite small in comparison. And the chart on the next page will give you a good idea of this. So here's this chart it displays the diversity of their AI investments over the last couple of years. These are all made since 2022. And as you can see, there's a lot of circular investment in investment in companies that are directly competing with one another, which has drawn the ire of regulators. The numbers with zero, as you can see, Agolo Inc. here, Page Inc., Engineer AI Corp. Those are circular investments, so that means that they've traded ownership in agreement to purchase Microsoft products in the future. There's no actual money changing hands. This is generally frowned upon in the eyes of antitrust regulators. And this is all culminated in the FTC launching an investigation. They've shown an increasing interest in prosecuting big tech companies since 2020. Among these companies are Apple, Microsoft, and a few others. And then in November 2024, they announced an investigation into Microsoft with a particular focus in their AI investments and whether these constitute a antitrust violation. So, with all this in mind, our recommendation is that Microsoft should consolidate their investments and focus on OpenAI and Azure solely to ease the pressures that are currently on them. This strategy would include just focusing on Microsoft's flagship AI products, which are OpenAI and Azure, and then minimizing their investments in outside products, which are really what is bringing them issues at the moment. So, the advantages of this strategy would include decreased regulatory pressure. It would also increase brand association between Microsoft and the AI products that they're investing in. And finally, it would lead to increased uniformity and strategy towards the future of AI. So beginning with decreased regulatory pressure, by pursuing this strategy, Microsoft will be perceived to be cooperating with the ongoing investigation by the FTC. This could potentially help them greatly in cutting down on litigation costs in defending this case. Also, research shows that companies who are perceived to be cooperating with the investigations usually escape with less severe penalties. The next advantage is that it would strengthen brand association. By focusing on their two flagship and existing investments in OpenAI and in Azure, it'll bolster its brand awareness between itself and its AI products. Finally, the minor AI investments, because the companies are smaller and much less widely known, it leads to less brand association for Microsoft, so it might not be as effective as a use of capital. Next, it'll increase uniformity in AI strategies. So because they currently hold non-controlling interests in so many smaller companies, they don't have a lot of uniformity in where they're trying to drive the AI sector as a whole. This allows them to benefit financially, but they have relatively little ability to influence the future of the AI sector. By adopting our strategy, they would gain more uniformity in their investment interests and gain increased power to drive the future of the AI sector. There are also some disadvantages that come along with our strategy. Primarily, they would provide certain inherent benefits, but it would hinder their ability to financially profit from advancements in AI that weren't as a result of R&D from Azure or OpenAI, because they would be less widely spread in their investments. If one of these companies that they potentially could have invested in makes a significant advancement, this would lead them less room to profit from this. Furthermore, our strategy would inherently bring an increased concentration of risk. Essentially, the idea is that they're not going to be able to hedge their investments as effectively now because they're concentrating their investments. So this would result in an increased concentration of risk if something happened to Azure or OpenAI, um, which would be a detracting factor. So with that in mind, let's advance the world of AI together. And thank you for listening to my presentation.